Welcome to the Sibling Squabble podcast. My name's Isaac.
My name's Selah.
And this is the Sibling Squabble podcast. See, we really got to come up with a tagline. This is getting embarrassing.
What's embarrassing about that, Isaac? What's embarrassing?
Well, it's just embarrassing that we can't be more creative with the podcast intro. It's just kind of lackluster.
I offered a suggestion.
Wait,
you guys want to hear my suggestion? Okay,
yeah.
I'm just going to say it and Isaac has to just...
Do you want to hear my suggestion? It's like you're asking the audience. This is not an interactive show. This is not live. I don't know if you know that.
It's not?
No.
Okay, well, that's disappointing. Imagine if we did a podcast live. Do you guys want to see a podcast live?
Do you want to see a podcast? No, we would never do a podcast live. That would be disastrous.
Here's my intro.
There's a reason that I don't do anything live, but I won't tell you why.
This is the Sibling Squabble podcast, and on this channel, we are siblings, and on this podcast, we squabble.
So there's a distinction. So it's on this channel, we are siblings, but on this particular podcast, we squabble. That's actually interesting, because what people will now realize, maybe if you're listening to the audio version, you don't know this, but on the video version, we are on a new YouTube channel. We've been kind of popping around. We used to be on my channel, but now we've decided to move over to our new channel so then we can have creative flexibility. And I don't know. Yep. Apologies to the audio listeners last week. I can't even imagine what kind of horrendous audio experience that would have been.
You're just listening to a laugh track, basically.
Yeah, especially the first episode back. But what can I say? The video was quite entertaining. People really enjoyed that video. But honestly, if you only listen to the audio, I'm sorry.
Honestly, you're true fans. You're a true
fan. You're a true fan. But part of the reason we moved over because we want to have our own specific community for this podcast. Sure, there's people that enjoy my content over on the Daily Disciple channel, but this is something different. This is something I was gonna say spooky. It's like Halloween season. This is something spooky and fresh. It's not spooky. So okay,
this is something terrifying.
Yes. So Selah, what we're talking about today is homeschooling, high school, and stories related to those two topics, obviously. Okay, so you were homeschooled.
Yep. Or am being homeschooled.
Oh, you are being homeschooled as well. Yeah, people who have been partakers of season 1 would know that, and some of your hot takes. I don't know which ones got left in the episode.
Which ones got through the censoring,
Because I know we've talked about this before. But okay, so Selah, what are some of the best things about being homeschooled? And I'm gonna debate with you.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's a Sibling Squabble podcast, my guy.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay.
Unless I agree, which is just lame. Okay.
Lame. The best thing about being homeschooled is the fact I don't have to go to school.
Okay, bro. Number 1, misconceptions about homeschoolers, rapid fire. Do you stay in your pajamas all day?
No.
You don't?
That's gross. I'm sorry, but
gross.
It's gross. If you think about it, change. Why wouldn't you? I don't know.
Okay. Do you smell bad? No. Are you dumb?
Common.
Are you either dumb or super smart?
Neither.
Dang.
You really, it's irrelevant.
Are you
honestly.
Socially? What is it? Are you socially deprived?
No.
Are you? Do you have lots of siblings?
Yes.
Oh no, we're stereotypical homeschoolers.
So
Do you live on a farm, my guy?
No.
What?
I don't.
Where are we right now? I thought we were on a farm. Okay, so you've enjoyed your homeschool experience, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, but have there been any negative aspects to the homeschool lifestyle that you found?
See, I tried to think of some, you were saying pros and cons, but I tried to think of some cons and I couldn't. Okay. I think the con is, I thought of one, but now I forget. I think the con is you're so grateful for being homeschooled. You you're just overjoyed at the
Wow, you're really hyping this up. This is wild. Okay. So, I want to tell you a story about a homeschool experience that I have. So, with homeschooling, you don't go on classic field trips. I feel especially in the movies too, there's a set amount of field trips that public schoolers go to. Like they go to this place and do this thing and this thing. I don't know if it's all scheduled out or whatever based on what grade you are, but that's what it feels like, at least when I watch on TV. Okay, but for homeschoolers, it's not that way. It's like you basically find, places to go and you go there.
Yeah.
And we were part of like a homeschool organization that kind of set up these field trips, I guess.
Yeah.
So we went to one of these homeschooling outings with a group of other homeschoolers. And usually when we went to these, groups of these outings, we would tag along with groups of public schoolers as well. Like it was kind of like a communal, hey, all these public school are going to this specific field trip type thing. And so now this homeschool group is kind of going to be their own little school and go to this group. One of the concerts that we went to, okay, it was called the Black Violin. And so I don't know about you, Selah, but I'm as like a 13-year-old, 12-year-old, a concert scenario is like the most awkward possible thing that you could put us in. Like we do not know how to respond to jiving and music, like hip hop. So we went under. I think my mom went in with the impression. I don't know. I haven't talked to her. Maybe we can bring her on the podcast. That this was going to be like a violin concert.
Yeah, that's what I think it sounds like.
Right? Yeah, because you weren't there for this. You were like, I don't know, a child, a baby.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we went to this concert, and all of a sudden, like these guys came out in violins and started going going wild, basically, like Lindsey Sterling, but like hip hop and like even more
like electric violin. Is that a thing? Like if electric violin existed, it would be like that.
Yeah, it was more like hip hop and like mosh pit type stuff, And so they came out and they wanted all the kids to like get up and like pump your hands, yeah. And we were like this group of homeschool kids, and we're like, what are we doing? Like, we're not allowed to like lift our hands.
No,
like, that's against God. Like, so we're like, all these like Baptist kids are like, we don't do this stuff. And so we were like, literally, at one point we did stand up, but then we're just kind of like folding your hands like across your stomach and just kind of like, please let this be done. Let this be done. Do you have that same? I don't know. I feel like as generations like progress, you are more cool of a homeschooler than we are. Like you dress more cool, you watch more cool content, and you're like more of a cool person as opposed to like us like homeschooled like sheltered kids of like the early 2000s. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, I realized that like public schoolers, like if you're a public schooler or even private schooler, you're around your peers, and then you're all like all the new information that seems so like adultish that everybody's excited about, they'll talk about, and so that'll be spread around the whole school, so everybody that age knows about it. But if you're homeschooled, then all you like before the internet, you're just around like all ages.
Information passes very much slower.
Very much slower. Like you're not around the same people and getting like the same information over and over again, or like new information that's like repeated because rumors and stuff.
Rumor has it. Yeah. I don't know. Like to me, okay, if you were in high school, what kind of person would you be? Okay, because you're in high school right now, right? So you're like in prime time territory where you're like, okay, if I was in school right now, would I be a goth? Would I be a jock?
We're going off of
would
like
you be a cheerleader?
Early YouTube and movie and TV shows stereotypes.
And would you be a geek or a nerd? Because there's a difference there.
Right, and I've never understood the difference.
I'll explain it to you here. The nerds are, and nobody try to contradict me here. I have this right. I've long held this.
Maybe I'll try to squabble with you.
No. See, I'm saying nerds are smart people. They're like the people that are like, doing math and science and really good at that stuff. Okay, they're high performers. Geeks are like cosplayers and like Dungeons and Dragon folks and people that are into sci-fi, and those are or like Marvel, heavily into
like
comics,
really into something basically.
They're like fandom people.
Yeah,
those are geeks, and nerds are like smart genius people.
Like geeks know a lot of things about this one thing that most people don't know anything about, or
you're
very
a geek.
Little.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so what kind of person would you be?
Okay. Okay, I need to.
What? Bro, we're on a podcast. We ain't got time to think about it.
No, I do.
Go with your instinct.
The first thing I think of is like, it's weird because like I'm either like I feel like I'd be the main character.
Oh my goodness, of course you. So in other words,
because
you would be...
the main character is supposed to be unique, but really it's the most basic person, and I feel like I'm like a basic person because most people are basic people because that's what makes them basic. So
okay, so wait, let me get this straight. You would be the person that would have like maybe like 3 or 4 like good friends. Mm-hmm. You would be at your own particular table
with my good friends
outside of all those niches.
Yes.
Okay? And there would be like you'd be really good friends with like all the different ethnicities and genders would be represented at your
good
table.
Representation.
And you would be like, you know, you'd be like mid-tier, so maybe slightly down to the loser category, mm-hmm. but you have each other, so it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, and ultimately something happens where you're forced to become prom queen or something like that, and everybody underestimates you. Okay, honestly, I don't actually know like what mom and dad's standards are for like content you're allowed to watch. Yeah. Have you watched any like high school movies or anything like that?
I'm like, what do you mean? Like movies that high schoolers would watch?
No,
or
like movies
about
that,
high school?
Yes, exactly.
No, because I don't like because most of the things that I watch are like the kids that are school age aren't in school most of the time.
They're homeschoolers?
Like it's like
you only watch Pure Flix. It's like all the programs I watch, the kids are homeschooled. Yeah. Could you imagine though?
No, actually, Adventures in Odyssey. That's where I get all my.
There's a little bit of that in there. There's a little bit of high school dynamics. Not a lot, but enough where you get a taste.
Because I'm friends with lots of public schoolers because obviously, but
not obviously. I mean,
I've met a lot of public schoolers, and I've always I stopped doing this years ago. But when I was younger, I was like, do you guys actually have like sections, and do you guys actually have like popular kids and stuff? And they never really answered my question, but they were pretty much like, no, that's not actually how school works. And I was really disappointed.
You know what? I have a feeling that it's like the people that I don't know. I feel like the most of the people we interact with, maybe, no offense to any public schoolers that are our friends that are watching this. Oh, this is going to be bad. But they're probably like they are the main character.
Exactly.
They're a little bit outside of all the stuff.
That's what I'm
saying. They're not in, I really fixed it by saying they're the main character, but I was going to say like they're like mid-tier people, so they don't acknowledge there's like the popular kids and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But honestly, we're just speculating at this point.
Yeah, this is all speculation, honestly. And also, they're either the main character where they are not really in cliques in school, or they are in cliques, but like they don't realize they are. And so it's like, sure, they somehow all of their friends are interested in this one thing, but they're just like, yeah, that's just how friends work. Of course we're all, but then they don't realize they're in a clique,
You know what I'm done with?
What?
I am. Do you know what I am finished with? Homeschool slander. Okay? If anybody, it's so easy, man. It's like
it is easy. Okay, you know what? There's this one comedian. I have no idea the name. Maybe most of the people don't even know what I'm talking about, but it's okay because I'll describe it. But there's this one like singer comedian that went on America's Got Talent, and I don't even know how far he got. I'm pretty sure he didn't even get past the auditions, or maybe like one round past it. But he pretty much just sang about like basic like homeschool like.
Bro.
Funny things like I had prom in my living room, and I danced with my mom in my pajamas.
You won't believe this because I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And this guy now is a prominent TikToker and YouTuber, commentary YouTuber, and he is an absolute leftist. Like, he is the worst. He is by no means a traditional homeschooler.
So he was straight up just, you know that TikTok audio that's like, how are you going to make fun of the club? You can't even get in.
Yeah, he was rejected from the homeschool club. We don't want him. He wasn't in the Adventures in Odyssey.
No, like the lamest side. I think he was just really bitter.
He was in like the homeschool hippie category maybe,
but
and
yet
now he's
wasn't
woke.
Though. That's why he's so bitter though.
Well, I think it's just like easy pickings because there's some kids that are like, I'm homeschooled, and they just use it as fuel.
You're right. He was on the hippier side of the homeschool conferences, and then he saw these people that had prom in their living room and just chose to make fun of them.
I don't even think this actually happens, man.
That's what the quotes. I guess the podcast listeners didn't realize, but I used quotes there.
It's like people that are like, "Oh, I used to be a Christian, but now that was dumb." But it's like, no, dude, you used to be a Christian. You went to Sunday school when you were 5 years old.
Yeah.
Like, my guy, like now you're just, that doesn't give you like the Christian pass to be like, I know what Christianity's all about. I could try it. It's like the homeschool pass. Like, you weren't homeschooled, man. You were homeschooled for like 1 year when you were 14 years old.
Very
and now
true.
you're like, oh, I speak for homeschoolers ever. It's like, come on, man. You know what?
Or even honestly, my favorite. I've never actually met anybody that does online school, but like I've seen YouTubers that do online school, but they seem like the most chillest people because they don't care how you educate, you know? Like they're just out here getting their education, living their life, and they don't judge anybody, you know? Like some people judge like homeschoolers for being homeschooled or like public schools or for being public schooled, but it feels like they don't really care because they're just out there living their life, you know?
The people that, explain this to me, people that do online school, like maybe they don't identify as either, or what?
Exactly. That's why
okay, they're like the middle
That's
people.
why it's like nice because they're not trying to be homeschooled. They're not trying to be public school. They're just out here living their life.
Yeah. I think that's cool. I mean, appreciate them. Appreciate you.
Even like public schoolers and homeschoolers that are like that like don't care. Like they care about their education, but they care about yours, but they don't judge yours.
Okay, let's even the playing territory here. Homeschoolers that supremely identify as like homeschooler as their like first thing that they like come like that's messed. Oh, that's like, ooh, that's not good. I don't like that. You don't need to flex on the people. Be like, I'm a homeschooler.
Yeah.
Like some people think that makes them so much smarter, and it's like, dude.
Oh yeah, I see that.
I mean, like, it's cool. Like, I appreciate you being homeschooled. Like, that's good. I'm glad that was good for you. But like, it does not help your cause when you're like, I was homeschooled, by the way.
It's very true. Oh,
almost like it's a flex, but to most people that's not a flex. But you know.
Yeah, definitely. And when somebody like says something that has nothing to do with being homeschooled, but they're like, sorry, I was homeschooled, like every 5 minutes.
Oh man, well the homeschool humor does go deep, but eventually you do move on from it. Hopefully, some never do though, unfortunately. Okay, so wait, you actually have to pick a category though in high school. Like what are you gonna be? Because I'm gonna say if I were in high school, I can't even imagine this world that would exist of me being in high school. I can't think of the scenario because if I've
tried really hard and I think I'd be a terrible person.
Well, I was trying to think like if I was in high school, I would have to take on a whole like different persona, right?
Exactly.
Like if you were in school every day, like just every day, I'd
have to become an extrovert, guys. It would be bad.
Well, it would be there like I would become a total like recluse and like not talk to anybody and just like getting it out, or I would try to honestly, if I knew I was going to be stuck in high school, I would try to rise the pyramid and I would try to be like class president or something like that. Not what is it, valedictorian? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be smart enough for that, but I might be able to.
I don't know. You seem pretty smart.
I seem pretty smart. This is Sibling Squabble, not sibling compliment.
Well, no. See, this is the thing. You think you're not smart. I think you are. We're squabbling.
No, it's not about smarts. It's like you got to be a certain type of person to dedicate yourself to getting that many good grades in high school. It's like high school grades.
Oh,
like,
no.
what is that even?
No.
You don't need those unless you're like going to be a doctor or whatever.
I don't really. Okay, this sounds weird, and I honestly, this probably doesn't even make any sense because it really doesn't. But I care about like learning stuff and less like grades. Like, does that make sense? Like,
dare you?
Like, I want to know stuff. For example, like math. You know, I want to know how to do the problem. And I want to know the problem, but like, I don't really care like grades. You know,
but
like what are grades? Like, I know how to do math.
How much we're worth to society.
Exactly, and
but
it's
that
like
grade tells you why your purpose and your worthiness to keep existing. Don't you know that?
Exactly. That's the problem. Isaac.
What
You're
problem?
the problem.
There's no problem with this. It's just like, get good grades. Otherwise, what's the point?
Because I feel like, it's just almost a rigged system. Like, I haven't done that much research. That's one thing I don't know is really that. But yeah, it's a rigged system. Yeah, I definitely really think that I'm gonna homeschool my own kids because I really enjoy and am enjoying my homeschool experience, being homeschooled, because it just provides so much freedom and like 10 times less the high school stress.
10 times less the high school stress. Homeschool your kids today.
At homeschool.ca.
At homeschool.ca. That's probably somebody has that. It's probably not a very good site though, I imagine. Probably some hippie got a hold of it and now they're trying
just because imagine you just choosing to just buy random sites like,
dude, people are so smart. They
just because, and then can you sell like resell sites?
Absolutely you can. That's a whole
smart.
Business. Yep, you can. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm gonna homeschool my kids too.
Yeah.
I think the best thing is, on a serious note, is how serious does this podcast actually get? Oh my goodness.
Serious note.
Serious note. I wanna. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, wait. Okay,
What's your serious note?
I'm editing this out.
What's your serious note?
Okay, on a serious note, I really think homeschooling, if you can do it, then you should do it because. Look, I would, and I realize I'm biased. I'm a homeschooler, whatever.
Yeah.
But it allows you to have so much freedom and also have a really well-rounded education, especially theologically and philosophically, understanding the different worldviews and not just getting one side of things is huge. Okay, what do you think is one of the most maybe weird things that you're going to do when you homeschool? Have you thought of any like I don't know, field trips that you're like, oh, I want to do that with my homeschool kids, or like certain things that they must do? Here's my thing, okay? I would want my kids, this is so homeschooly of me.
What?
To definitely know like another language, but like maybe know like Latin or Greek. Okay, like really.
That's very homeschooling.
No, like can you imagine like my kid like learning Latin?
That is the most homeschool thing.
Yeah, but like it's coming back. There's gonna be like a new like Renaissance. So this.
You want Latin?
Or Greek like Greek, so they could read the New Testament like in the Greek form. I just think that would be awesome. Couldn't you? Is it so wrong to aspire? Is it so wrong to aspire?
No, but it's really funny.
Okay, do you have anything like that?
I want to teach my kids Hebrew so they can read the Bible straight without any toxic translations.
Toxic translations? You sound like a progressive right now. Toxic translations. It's mistranslated. Okay. No, seriously. Are there any things?
Not as weird as that.
Are you going to bake bread with your family?
I
feel like that's a homeschool thing to do.
We'll have something. Honestly, I should be able to think of something.
Are you going to make kombucha?
I feel like it will be something to do with like, just like familyness.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I think we'll have a family game night.
Okay, well that's
not super homeschooly, but it is.
Well, that's nice to aspire to. What is it with homeschoolers and fermentation?
Like fermenting things?
No. like what is it with like sourdough fermented?
Exactly.
Kefir? I think kefir is not ferment. Maybe it's I think kefir is fermented. Kombucha.
That's a good point. You know? That's a good
like, what
question.
Is it with homeschoolers and fermentation?
And like, yeah.
I'm asking you guys, why? Stop. No, I'm just kidding. I like those.
You don't have to stop, but just ask yourself why. Like, deeply ponder it.
I think the question is, how many things are you going to ferment when you're a homeschooler? That's the big question.
I don't think I'm going to try to make kombucha because it seems overly hard with, like, unless you, like, it takes a lot of practice to get it good, and I don't want to commit time to that. That's why I'm not going to, and I feel like my kids won't like it because I'm not
Your homeschool household is going to be categorized by laziness. We can't make kombucha. It's too hard. Your husband's going to be Mickey Mouse. Oh, boys and girls. Oh, okay. This podcast is so done. Thank you guys for listening and watching. We're getting back to our roots on this podcast. We might react to some things down the way, but this is what you'd expect. This is what you're gonna expect. Maybe it's not what you would expect.
Not what you'd expect.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're listening on the audio, and vice versa if you're watching on YouTube. Selah, any final words for the folks?
Peace out, squabblers.
Bye.